Welcome to another episode of the Wayne A Podcast. My man, I'm joined today by Johnny Eblen, the former Bellator middleweight champion, the former PFL middleweight champion, the former super champion, right? Like all of these championship belts. Right now, though, you don't have the belt. You're trying to get back to the belt. You were scheduled actually to fight Vanstinas in Austin. Vanstinas apparently got hurt, is what I believe. Correct?
Something like that. I think wasn't like a serious injury. I think he wanted to push it a couple months.
Okay.
Because he didn't want a quick turnaround. I don't know the whole story, but it just seemed like he didn't want to go to Austin and fight me. But he signed the contract. We both signed. We were scheduled to fight, and supposedly got a little injury and wanted to nurse it and wanted some more time. And PFL was like, well, we don't want to do that. We want to make this fight happen in Austin. And if not, we're not on your time, So
yeah,
they were trying to push it to maybe next year. And I was like, dude, I can't wait till next year to fight.
No.
I need to fight
I
need to fight July, and then they eventually, came to a conclusion to get Impa for an interim title.
That is something that I wanted to talk to you about is, since 2024, you've had 5. This will be your 5th fight, I believe, and the first time you fought Impa was when the PFL and Bellator merged. That was their first big event, and that was in 2024. Are you feeling like you need to be a little bit more active, a little bit more busy, or do you like the pace that you're at right now?
Last year I wasn't thrilled that I only fought once.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sucked, especially, it was a loss. I wanted to get a quick turnaround to, get that loss behind me and, just turn the tide of like where my career's heading. But, I had a long layoff and then I just fought Brian Battle in March and they have a quick turnaround for me this year, which is good. But last year, I think they were just in the midst of, changing who was at the reins.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that going on in the background, it's kind of hard to schedule fights and stuff. So I understand the problems that they were having, but I only have so much time to fight, and it kind of sucked. I only got to fight once. I wish I would have got to fight at the end of the year last year, but this year, it's looking a lot better. I'm definitely going to fight twice this year, maybe 3 times, but I think 2 a year makes the most sense because of like the caliber of fighter I am and the amount of money I'm getting paid. It makes sense to only fight me twice a year. 3 times would be a stretch for them, but it would be great for me. I would love to fight three times a year, maybe even 4, but I understand the realities of the situation.
How was your relationship changed with the PFL since Jonathan Martin has taken over?
Oh, it's great. I love Jonathan. He's the man. Also,
what makes him great? What do you enjoy about him in terms?
He's like a real CEO. He's not. His head's not in the clouds. He understands he doesn't like try to reinvent the wheel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He understands what the PFL is and what it can be, and he has the right team to run it.
Yeah.
And he truly believes in them, and he doesn't try to get them to do anything crazy or do anything that doesn't make sense. And he trusts his team. And I know that team because a lot of this team, it's a mixture of PFL and Bellator, but a lot of the people that are, pulling the strings are, former Bellator employees.
Mm-hmm. What you saw though was what I feel is a lot of fighters not knowing how their future was going to look when it was under the old regime. Okay. You had guys that were asking for their release, not being busy enough. And now I have not heard anyone since Jonathan Martin has come on board and been like, hey, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what we're doing. I don't want to be released. I haven't heard any of that from fighters now. I think just knowing that the direction of the promotion seems like it's headed in the right direction. I love what they've done by getting rid of the tournaments. I love what they've done. And hey, the best fight the best. And that puts you guys right up there. Puts you, Impa, Vanstinas, obviously, even Fabian Edwards. It puts all those guys right at the top. And so it just makes for a great mixture of middleweights. I mean, I would arguably say you guys have 4 or 5 of the best middleweights in the game and very competitive against whoever, whatever. I'm not even trying to compete with it, saying that it's going to be like the UFC guys. I'm just saying I'd like to see some fights. You know what I mean? And it makes it easier for him, Jonathan Martin, to push you guys when you guys are active, when you guys fight the way you guys fight. Let's just be honest, man. When they brought in Brian Battle, and I had you on the show right before your fight with Brian Battle, There was a lot of talk that he was better than you, that he could beat you, and you went out there and made it look easy. What was your mindset going into that fight, and then afterwards going like, hey, he's not on my level? Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing Element. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, so you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, come on, Dad, keep up, you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. Element.
Stay salty.
Yeah, I kind of knew that he wasn't on my level. I just, you have a feeling when you train at other gyms and you have people that have trained with them and you've trained with the same people and they kind of have an understanding like, yeah, this guy's on a different level. It's just through talks of that and just knowing, I train with the best guys in the world. I think I'm one of the best in the world. And Brian's not a bad fighter. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
he's not.
It's not a bad fighter. It's just there's levels to this game, and I'm on a different level. And I went out there and proved it in March, And yeah, I know there was a lot of talks beforehand, but after that fight, there's nothing to say. I went out there, manhandled them. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
and
like
took care of business. I took care of
everyone.
business.
Yeah,
And
everyone.
well, people just don't understand like the level of middleweights that we have already is pretty damn high, and people just forget. They just look at the UFC brand. A lot of the casuals do, but a lot of the real ones know. They
Yeah.
understand that our middleweight division is pretty competitive with the UFC middleweight division. We don't have the depth and we don't have the amount of fighters, but our talent level is very high because I mean, essentially, it's you throw Impa in there. That's the only PFL guy really, and Josh Silvera.
But
But
styles make
most of it,
matchups.
yeah,
Styles
exactly.
make, yeah.
But most of these guys were the Bellator middleweights, and Bellator did a really good job at retaining talent and keeping the guys that they thought, that were very high level and not letting them leave and getting them to stay by paying them more. And they really, really built a great roster, at Bellator. And then they're building even a better roster now that they merged with the PFL and kept the guys that they think that are, high level and are going to fight often and put on exciting fights.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You've got Mike Hogan there, and Hogan was obviously with Bellator and also Strikeforce, and with the Scott Coker brand. But that whole thing is like just learning how to retain fighters and fight at a high level that want to be active and busy and fight at a great pace. That's what Mike Hogan brings to the table, though. He's got a great
Exactly.
relationship with a lot of the
That's
fighters.
a big reason why I stayed with the PFL is because Kogan was on
Yep.
board and I have a good relationship with him and I know how he runs the fight business and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And like if he wasn't with the PFL, like I probably would have made different decisions. Let's just say it that way. But the fact that that PFL took him on board, then now they're actually, giving him the reins to kind of control more things and make it more like it almost feels like I'm at Bellator again, just with like more like different with newer faces,
Yeah.
And I like that because that's what I signed up for originally. And yeah, dude, I'm happy with where the promotion's headed, and it's looking bright. I think the future's looking good.
Yeah, fighters don't need to worry about like if the promotion is going to be around. They need to worry about their fights and their training, And I think during that time when Bellator and PFL merged, it was just handled very badly, and fighters were just lost and there was no real communication on what was going on. And now that Jonathan Martin has stepped in, you just seen that the fighters seem like they can see a path. They know where it's going, and it just makes their job easier to go in the gym and train every day and go out there and put on a great fight. And I feel like the fights have really delivered since Jonathan Martin's taken over.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that this like there's just a clear direction of like, hey, we're gonna put on good fights. We're gonna pay these guys good. we're gonna have the cool thing I like is that they got rid of the tournament and they're having a lot of the fights in the States again. Traveling overseas was so hard, especially when most of your fighters are American. It's
Mhm.
expensive too. I understand that they had to go where the money was at some point. That's why we fought in Saudi Arabia a few times, but that eventually dried up. I think it's at the end of the day, you don't always have to go where the money is. You have to create create great fights. People
Yeah.
will come watch. So I think that's what they're doing now.
So let's go back a little bit. You get your win over Brian Battle, stand in the cage. Okay, everything's going well. What was the next communications outside the cage or with anybody from PFL about, hey, what's next? Was it just already you kind of knew it was going to be Vancinas next? If he had won, you had won, that kind of thing, or what was the conversation like with the PFL after your win?
Yeah. So before that fight, Vancinas beat Fabian.
Mhm.
So I knew after I won, I was going to fight Vancinas. I just didn't know where, when, what the timeline was.
Mhm.
But soon after I won, I was in the back. I think I was about to do media, post fight interviews and stuff. And they mentioned, July, possibly in Texas. I
Mhm.
don't think they like nailed it down quite, but like I think that's what they were trying to do. So I was like, all right, July, Texas. I had that in my head. Obviously, I'm gonna fight Van Steenis, but it wasn't for sure. And then eventually, when push came to shove, they eventually booked it, and I had a contract. I signed it. He signed it, and we were booked to fight.
Yeah.
And I started, getting ready for that fight, and yeah, he apparently got hurt. So
I mean, we'll get through this one if we can, and then move on to fighting for the title possibly here in the States. But ultimately, let's talk about Impa. You guys have a past. You guys have fought before. Your first fight in the PFL was over in Saudi Arabia. I was there at the Riyadh show. It was outdoors. It was hot. There was a little bit of dust. It was the
it
what?
actually got cold. It
It
was
got
like
cold towards
hot. It
the
was
end.
hot. Yeah, it was hot. But by the time I was fighting, I think I was that co-main? Can't remember if I was I think I might have been co-main
Yeah, I think
or
you
like
were co-main.
yeah, maybe co-main. I can't remember. I'll have to look. But yeah, it started getting cold because it gets cold in the desert at night.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm cold. Like, what the fuck? And it's outdoors. I'm like, dude, it's like time change, all this shit. And it's just like, oh God. I remember it was an interesting show. I didn't mind fighting in Saudi Arabia, but it was an interesting show. It seemed like fighting was relatively new there.
Mhm.
And it's just like you could just tell by how the crowd showed up, how they react to certain fights.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, it was cool. It was a cool experience. I got um, Mike Tyson to wrap the bell around me, so that was pretty dope. Yeah,
I just, I have a tendency to, when I get on a long flight, is I'll have like one whiskey and then I'll just go to sleep. I can sleep no problem on a plane, but there's no alcohol on the planes inside their airspace.
no,
And so when I
yeah,
was like, yeah, can I get
but
a
it's
whiskey?
funny. Outside of the airspace, they'll serve alcohol, and then
Yeah.
as soon as they're like crossing into Saudi airspace, they stop serving alcohol. It's just like this
Oh,
is so interesting.
on my flight, they said they couldn't even have alcohol on the plane.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're
Interesting.
like, we don't have
Yeah.
any alcohol on the
I'm
plane. I was
sure
like,
some are different.
yeah.
Remember my flight, they like stopped as soon as they crossed they like announced it like we're going to stop serving alcohol or we're going to stop serving alcohol in the next hour, so get an order now
Mm.
or something. I thought that was very interesting. And then remember one flight, I think it was what I forgot the airline. I think it's a European airline, but it might be KLM.
Hmm.
They usually give you little like
Bottles.
shots of like they're like houses,
Hmm.
and it's like they're like full of alcohol. But when we were going to Saudi on KLM, they gave you it without the alcohol in it. They like emptied them because you can't have yeah. So it's just like, dude,
What do you do?
yeah, it's like what the heck. But I mean, I get it. You have
Oh.
to abide by their laws, and when
Yep.
you're a visitor, it's what you need to do.
You
And
said it. When you're
yeah,
a visitor, right?
when you're a visitor, you got to respect the laws of the country you're visiting.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I agree.
yeah.
Let's talk about the rematch. Let's talk about your first fight a little bit, though. Let's talk about The travel, obviously, you were just talking. It makes it a little bit more difficult. The time change, it's drier over there. There's a lot more dust over there. It is in the desert. You see the same, very similar stuff happening in Vegas. It is a little bit more dustier over there, with the sand and the sand dunes being out. I don't know if you went out riding a camel and rode
I
and
did.
riding in
I
the four
did.
wheeler.
ATVs, yeah, camels.
Yeah. So you're spending time out there, right? But then you're there for 10 days, I believe, somewhere around there, 7 to 10 days. Getting acclimated. Did you feel a difference? Because we just had the White House card. CFFC just had a card out in Liberty Hill. That was outside as well. The White House card was outside. That fight was outside. Did you feel different fighting outside in that fight? And obviously this fight will be different because it's indoors.
Yeah, absolutely. I think fighting in an indoor arena that's controlled, where the climate's controlled, it makes things a lot more consistent.
Mhm.
Fighting outside, I just don't think is a good idea. It could rain. You have bugs.
Yeah.
I say this, but they had the White House card outside in the middle of the summer, and it ended up being great. But it's like, I think you can have the same exact card with the same outcomes in a controlled environment, and like you're gonna have less problems because I think when you just do things outside, there's more. It's just fighting's an outside sport. Like you do it in a controlled environment inside. Like, yeah, if it's football or soccer, I get it. Like that's meant to be played outside on a field, but fighting's not meant to be on grass in a field. So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's definitely harder on the promotion to put an event
sure.
outside. So I think you just make it easier and put it in arenas.
It's all that money you spend as a promotion. You don't know if it's going to pan out or
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Like, what if it rains? Then
Yeah.
the card's over. Like,
Yeah. It's not even rain.
lightning,
Like it's not
thunder.
even rain. Like I've seen guys fight in the rain. Like John Fitch, I cornered him for the World Series of Fighting. I think it was like one of their last fights they ever had before they became the PFL. It was outside at Daytona, and they had a canvas, not a canvas mat, vinyl mat. They were slipping and sliding everywhere.
See,
Everywhere.
that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, that's not. I know, like both guys have to deal with that, but it's like, why? Why are we making this harder? Like, we should make it simpler. It's like all you gotta do is like you show up and you just have to fight. You don't have to worry about the sun. You don't have to worry about rain or like wind or like bugs. Like what if a bug flew in your eye while you're like fight? It's like what? I know it's like you guys both have to deal with the bugs, but what if a bug flies in my eye and doesn't fly in your eye?
Promoter's just like, fuck it. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, that's just
What
it's just it's going to be way more inconsistent. So I
Yeah.
don't advocate for having outdoor events when it comes to MMA.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I 100% agree because like we were talking about earlier, the fighters need to just focus on the fight. It's
Yeah,
already difficult enough having to worry about the guy trying to take your head off, right? And
exactly.
now I got to worry about the rain. I got to worry about is there lightning striking?
Yeah,
here soon?
dude.
That's another thing. Like,
Or what if there's a lightning strike and then it gets delayed an hour? And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I was going to fight at this time, but now I'm fighting at this time. And
yeah,
it's like you're just throwing more things that could go wrong.
that's how I always felt about swing bouts because in early like UFC.
Oh
or
yeah,
not-
they
had
do
like
it in
swing
They did
bouts.
it in Bellator too. Yeah,
Yeah,
where you could like either fight before the main event, but like when the TV time comes on, the main event goes on, and if you haven't fought yet, you have to fight after the main event. It's like
Yeah.
a dark fight or something.
yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Imagine warming up twice on accident because you think you're about to fight, but then the TV fights go on, and then you don't have to fight till after the fucking main event's over. It's like,
When I was fighting in Strike Force, my Dwayne Ludwig was the swing bout fight. So I'm fighting Dwayne Ludwig, and he's the swing bout fight. Like this kid's a fucking killer on the feet, right? And then
Yeah.
luckily the fight before mine, because I was supposed to fit in right before the co-main event, and luckily that fight was only like I don't know 2 minutes. They're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you guys are up. You guys are up," but it took them a good 15 minutes to tell me whether my fight was going. So I had
Yeah.
to kind of warm up real quick, go out
yeah,
there and fight. But it's one of those you're either somewhat already warm and you can do it. And if you somewhat already warm, you've already kind of used your energy. If you have to fight at the end of the night, now you got to get
Yeah.
warmed up again. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a huge problem.
It's like that's another thing. I'm like, why? Why are we like?
Yeah,
Just have a card where there's, everything's set properly in a
Yeah.
controlled environment. Why are we making things hectic? let's be
Yeah.
organized, you know.
Well, the UFC, what they would do is they would do for in-house, and sometimes they would do it over pay-per-view as well. But for in-house early UFC days, they would just take a fight that happened on the card before that was good, and they would play that in-house. So, like, I had a good fight with Hermes Franca, right? And that fight ended up making me like the number one fighter in lightweight division in the world at the time.
Mhm.
So then they took that fight and they played it in-house because the main card had gone, or the card had gone so fast. So they needed some filler. So they played my fight with Hermes Franca inside the arena,
Yeah,
so everyone could
that
watch it
makes
as well
sense.
as
That's
yeah, as
cool.
well as yeah. That's
Yeah.
I mean, like, so then no one's out, and I was there. It just so happened I was at the next event as well, so I got
Yeah.
to watch it again.
That's
You know,
cool.
inside. So that was kind of cool. Let's talk about Impa Kasanganay. Look, tough fighter. Obviously, first fight was a tough fight. What caught you off guard by him when you went in there the first time and fought him?
Nothing really caught me off guard. I made a bad decision, and didn't fight smart in the second round. He came out fast. I tried to brawl with him, and I got caught. You know, it can happen in any fight. If I choose to stay in a range where I can get clipped, you might get clipped. You know, um, yeah, because all I had to do was, oh, okay, I don't need to stay in this range. Circle out. You know, get out of this range, or clinch with them. You know. Um, but I decided to brawl, shouldn't have, and I got clipped, had to recover, and then by the end of the second, I was on top of him, punching his face in. So, you know, it could have been a 10-8, but I think the fact that I survived the onslaught after getting clipped, took him down, controlled him, and was landing damage by the end, I think, you know, it becomes a 10-9 because
Yeah.
at the end of the second he was on his back and he looked like he was pretty damn tired trying to take my head off, you know. And then the third I walked him down and outstruck him. The first was the only close round really, and in that I got a takedown. The striking was about the same. I thought I landed better damage. I landed cleaner strikes on him, and you know, the judges saw the same. The people on verdict saw the same. They saw 2-1. You know, and that's how fighting scored. It's not about, oh, he had one big round and you win the fight because you had
Yep.
one big round. And honestly, at the end of the third, I had a body triangle locked. I had his back. I controlled him. You know, I think if this goes out for two more rounds, you know, if it's a 5-round fight, I think I'm on my way to a finish. You know, because he didn't look too great. He was pretty damn exhausted, and I had a lot more fuel in the tank.
Speaking of, is this fight a 5-round fight?
Yes, it's
It is.
for an interim belt. So I'm happy that they made it for an interim title because it's for sure going to be a 5-round fight. I know PFL doesn't do 5-round main events that aren't for a title. I'm pretty sure because the last fight I just went to in San Diego with AJ McKee, which was an amazing fight.
Yeah.
Main event, but a 3-rounder. So, and same with me when I fought Brian, it was a 3-round fight. So.
Got it. What do you think has changed for Impa from that fight to this fight? And how has your mindset changed from that fight to this fight?
I don't think Impa's probably gotten a little bit better at what he does, but I don't see anything drastic change in him. Um, Other than he might have taken some more damage since we last fought. You know, I think he's been knocked out twice since then.
Mm-hmm.
And then even one fight that he won against this Sanchez guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a pretty close fight, and he was actually, I think he was kind of losing. And then he got the finish in the third, and won that one. And then he knocked out Dalton. But even in the Dalton fight, he got hurt. You know,
Yeah. Dalton's
so
got power, man. He's got
yeah,
power. He's extremely athletic, explosive, all those. You train with
exactly.
him, you know.
Of course,
Yeah.
he's another great fighter in the middleweight division. But I mean, I think he's the same fighter, maybe a little bit better at his skill set,
Mm-hmm.
at what he does good. I don't see any like big differences from the last time we fought, other than that he's been in a few wars, you know.
Can I tell you what I feel like maybe the difference will be for
Yeah,
you? I
sure.
think in this for you at least, and also
Of
too for
course.
him,
Of
is
course.
that we joined PFL and Bellator at that time, and I just remember everyone going, the PFL fighters are going to be better, or the Bellator fighters are going to be better, and I almost felt like there was more pressure on you guys to go out there and prove that you're the promotion that had the better fighter. And because I, like you said, you stood in that pocket there for a second, and I know you've got some power in your hands, you got slick boxing, but it wasn't, you were never one to like stand and trade with someone in there, but you'll get in there, get your strikes off, land your hard shots, circle out and fight smart. You've always been that type of fighter. You have a very high fight IQ. In that fight, it felt like both of you, it was like a pissing match. I'm the
for
better
sure.
guy. I'm the better guy.
Yeah.
And that's normally how fighting is, but there was more pressure on Bellator versus PFL. Everyone was talking about it. That was the buzz. And I just feel like that changed the way you guys fought. It was a great fight. It was a fun fight for us as fans. I'm sitting there, Keisha,
but it wasn't a smart fight for both of us.
No,
we were kind of going in there like, let's see who. Yeah, let's just go. It's like a tough man competition almost. And honestly, after that fight, I remember talking with my corner, and they're like, why were you fighting like that? Like, you had us worried. Like, I mean, I'm sure both corners were kind of a little worried.
Yes.
Like, why are you guys fighting so crazy a little bit? You know, it's like, I mean, maybe that had something to do with it. And now the fact that we've already fought, we kind of have an understanding of what we can both do. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a tactical fight, or maybe it's not. Maybe Impa comes out, you know, swinging hard and you know, running in head first. You know, you never know how guys are going to come in fight night. But you know, I'll invite it. If he does that, I'll fight tactically and fight smart. And I really think that my game has changed a lot since the first fight. And also, I didn't fight smart in the first fight.
Also, what do you mean it's changed
Just
a lot?
my grappling has gotten a lot better. My striking's gotten a lot better. I've improved a lot, and it's just I'm more of a well-rounded guy now, and it's 2 more years of training with some of the best fighters in the world. Like Sean Strickland's out here right now. I train with him all the damn time, dude. And so I helped him get prepared for Chimaev, and now he was going to come out here to help me prepare for Costello, but Costello pulled out, and he's like, "Do you need me?" I was like, "Yeah, come back out," because he's one of the best guys in the world. He is the best guy in the world right now. He's a UFC middleweight champ, and you know, that's one of my training partners. You know, I fly out to him, he flies out to me, because we're both great rounds. We both get better, and not very many fighters, you know, have that availability. You know, and they don't get those rounds, but me and Sean do, and I think that's why we're some of the best guys in the world.
Do you talk about some of the crazy shit that comes out of his mouth? Do you guys just laugh about it in the gym?
I laugh about, yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't know if he's I don't know if he's like trolling or like, some of it's true and some of it I agree with, but like there's like a little bit I'm like, I don't know, that might go overboard. Are you trying to troll, or you know? But at the end of the day, dude, he's a good guy, and it's just he's talking shit, and he just sometimes he happens to have a mic or a camera in his face, and I don't seem to take things that serious. But yeah, I think, you know, he has it out for a few people, and I get it. There's some people that you just don't like, that you just don't agree with, and you don't get along with, and you have some shit to say to them. And some people say it, some people don't. Some people, you know, keep it to themselves. And he's very outspoken, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, I admire that about him, you know, and it's probably why um, why a lot of fans like him. You know, he says what's on his mind, and he's outspoken, you know, and that's something that you have to respect.
Is it a bit?
Fight, you know? So that's like, it's like, what are you going to do about it, you know?
But is it a character or is it like a bit?
Nah, it's not a character. He's himself. Like,
that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought, though.
But it's not a scary thought, because I know what kind of guy he is, and he's not a bad person.
Got it.
If you get what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, but like, look, I know I'm not trying to cause any controversy here whatsoever.
No.
Look, Sean Strickland is going to be Sean Strickland. And actually, I think, like you said, a lot of people like him because he's very upfront about who he is. I just felt like it seems like to me a little overboard when you're yelling goat fuckers and things like that. It gets, because you're
I think he was like trying to sell the fight with Chimaev, and he's also like trying to be funny, and like it's like he's like joking around. But people, I mean, I'm probably not going to say it, but I'm going to I laughed at it. I'm not going to say I didn't laugh at it. I like stand-up I like comedians, and like sometimes there's like a bit of truth into shit that makes it funny. Not to say that like they're goat fuckers. Like, I don't believe that, but it's funny that someone's saying, it's like, I don't know. It's like comedy in my
Mm.
eyes, and like I know he's more saying it because it's just funny. It's not like
Mhm.
that he actually believes that they go fuck goats. Like,
I just found it weird because they had trained together before, so they kind of had almost like a mutual friendship relationship, like how you guys train, right? It would just feel a little weird. Now I understand selling the fight, I do,
they
and
still
maybe
the
there
fight,
was
but they're both being disrespectful towards each other, and
that's
they
true.
both cross the line in a sense. Um, so if you want to sell a fight, you gotta get a little personal, and that's just how it is. I think and I think there is a line. You don't want to talk about family. You
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
agree.
talk about kids. Um, I think Sean pushed it a little bit on the religion, but Sean makes fun of all religion. It's like in comedy, it's like if you're just singling out one group of people,
Mhm.
that doesn't make sense. But if you're making fun of everybody, it's like okay. Like I don't ever see Sean single out anybody, really.
Yeah,
I mean, he has been going hard on Muslims, but he makes fun of Christians. He makes fun of religion.
yeah.
It's not like one religion, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
his relationship with Chimaev, especially afterwards, after they fought, and Chimaev just kind of gave him some respect, and the two of them gave each other
I mean,
respect
Yeah,
inside the
Sean gave
cage.
him respect too. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So the two of them, like I said, it almost felt like it was a bit from both sides. Let's attack each other. Let's sell this fight. Let's try to make as much money as we possibly can. And I think it worked. Everyone bought into it. They thought, Sean was being extremely disrespectful. They thought Chimaev was being disrespectful. I think it went both ways. And ultimately, they got a ton of people to tune in and watch their fight.
Yeah, but the problem with them squashing it, it's like
Can't do it again.
it's
You
like you
can't.
can't. It's like hard to. I mean, you could
Yeah.
because I could see I don't think they had a conversation about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it was just like an unspoken, like, okay, well, you said some shit about me. Okay, I'm gonna come after you. And it's like, oh, he's coming back with me with this. And
Mhm.
it's like it kind of ramps up organically, but at the end of the day, they both respect each other.
Got it.
It's a little different than like the McGregor and Khabib thing. That's like a beef that will never end.
It'll never go.
Yeah, it will never
Never.
go.
No. No.
Because those guys don't respect each other at the end
I
of the
mean,
day.
they did early in their careers. I mean, there's tweets back and forth to each other. Hey, if you're coming out to Vegas, let's train. And
Yeah,
oh yeah, I'll call you when I get there.
yeah, but
But
once
then
once the line was crossed for them, it's like
yeah,
beef will never be squashed.
no, nuh-uh, no.
Yeah,
That'll never. I can tell you personally, that'll never be squashed.
no, no.
No. Let's talk about. There's someone else also in your gym. I just wanted to touch on this real quick. Dustin Poirier going through a little bit right now, but I'm a huge fan of Dustin. I just had Dustin on the pod, and I just want to make sure that people understand how good of a person he is. And you've trained with him, you know him. He's one of the kind of leaders in that gym, and he's just a great person. And I wanted to hear it from some of his teammates as well, and help get that out there.
Yeah, dude, Dustin's such a great person, man. Like he's a great guy, and we all make mistakes.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's just it sucks that he was put in a position where it was filmed and whatnot, and it shit happens. I could have done that. Anybody, you could have done that. We're fighter. Like we all have a screw loose. We all have like a little bit of a temper sometimes, and when I saw it, I'm like, dude, yeah, I totally would have done the same shit. If I was
Mhm.
pissed off, I was pissed off. I was under the influence of something. Um, part of me was like, man, I wish there was a friend around to like avoid that whole situation. But it is what it is. And yeah, Dustin's a great dude. He does a lot of great things, and this incident doesn't change anything about the way I think of him.
Absolutely
Um,
not.
and I think
And
honestly, a lot of people understand that, and a lot of people know he's a great guy, and back him up. I haven't really seen anything bad other than like kind of they'll make fun, they'll make light of the situation. It's not
Mhm.
like they're attacking Dustin, but there's some memes out there that are funny, that
Mhm.
aren't attacking him as a person or his character,
No.
but the people that are attacking him like personally are you know they're low blows. They're taking advantage of
Yeah.
of a situation of a guy making a mistake that usually doesn't make mistakes, and they're trying to blow it up into like, oh, he's a horrible person. This guy's terrible. It's like, no, dude. I think you're deflecting.
He's
Like a
not.
Colby
No.
Covey,
Yeah.
like they're deflecting about themselves
Yeah.
because they're
Absolutely.
like they feel bad about themselves because they know they're terrible people, and it's like, oh, this guy, this guy's that's usually awesome, fucked up. you know, so I'm going to make this situation bigger than it really is. You know, that's
I
what
want to
I see.
I want to
Yeah,
remind people that because he is liked by so many people, that's why this was news. That's why people brought it out.
of
Is
course.
because if he wasn't as big of a star as he is, and he wasn't as likable as he is, like people love him. Like, I mean, this is a situation where he has talked out also too after he retired. It's difficult. It is difficult. I've been in that same situation where I was like I was at the Delta Club at the airport, right? They didn't
Mhm.
announce that my flight was boarding because it was delayed and they said, nope, it's been bumped up. They didn't announce it. So I get there and like, oh no, we shut the door. I'm like, I still have 20 minutes. They're like, we're allowed to shut the door 20 minutes early because it was a delayed flight. So I lost my shit.
Yeah,
I lost my shit. The
yeah,
difference is that I'm not the star that Dustin Poirier is.
of
And that's
course.
what the difference is. And so I just look, you get upset in those type of situations because you're stranded now. You can't get back to your family. You know, like there's
Yeah,
a lot of reasons why. But in this situation, I felt for him, man. Like, and I understand too the frustration. It's just because he was such a star, because he is such a star. That's why people are making light of this. I just wanted to make sure that we talked about this guy's a great guy. He's done a lot. He's donated a lot of money. He's raised a lot of money to donate to a lot of great causes. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that like we all make mistakes, we're human, but because he is such a star, that's what made
yeah.
people look.
The cameras come out, more attention's
Yeah,
brought to the situation,
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you know, it is what it is when you have that type of fame. You know, things are going to get blown up and get blown out of proportion sometimes. But I think at the end of the day, you know, from what I've seen on at least on my feed, you know, is a lot of support for him, and
Absolutely.
they're making light of the situation, not attacking Dustin personally. And you know, at the end of the day, I think you know Dustin's going to make the right changes and be a better person because of this. You know, and
Absolutely.
I just know his character, and I just know how he's going to react. And it's all about how you react to these situations, not about the situation itself. You know, because at the end of the day, what the fuck really happened? You
Mm.
know, you just saw an angry guy that had to like, you know, he's like, all right, he's a fighter. You know, I'll fight you. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I would have done the same shit. And it's like, all right, you got to take me to jail. Take me to jail. You know what I mean? Like, nothing bad happened. And
The
honestly, a lot of it, I respect the police officer. Not gonna lie,
absolutely.
he handled it very well.
Well, he didn't want to get hands put on him. That's why.
Yeah, and I mean, he was smart that because if it was a dumb cop or a guy
Yeah.
that was on a power trip and wanted to fucking be like, all right, let's see whose balls are bigger. It's like I don't like that situation.
No.
So you know, a lot of respect for the cop for you know just you know playing it cool and like doing what he had to do to de-escalate the situation. And you know, I think that situation turned out the best way it could have. You know, it
Absolutely.
could have been way worse. Let's just put it
Absolutely.
that way. Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna get you out of here on this though. July 18th, Austin, Texas. You're fighting Impa Kasanganay for a main event, 5-round interim title on the line to see who fights Costello Fancinas next. Also, just give me your prediction on it.
I think my prediction for my fight, July 18th, is you're going to see a finish. I don't know what round. I don't know how so, but I think, you know, based off what I've been working on, when I see an opportunity to get a finish, I'm gonna take it, and you're gonna see it July 18th.
My man, hey, former Bellator middleweight champion, former PFL champion, and now fighting for the interim title, July 18th in Austin, Texas. Make sure you guys tune in on ESPN. Guys, don't miss it. Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and yeah, trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing Element. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, so you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, come on, Dad, keep up, you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. Element.
Stay salty.